During the Holocaust, doctors and other medical professionals faced difficult moral and ethical decisions unlike any other time in history. What lessons can we, as a society, learn from those doctors and nurses as we struggle to endure our current global pandemic, about medical ethics and our human nature as a whole? Viktor Frankl was an Auschwitz survivor, psychiatrist, and best-selling author who impacted millions of people's lives with his message that our very existence needs to have meaning. Without it, it can lead to suffering and a lack of will to live on. Frankl attributes surviving the Holocaust to the love and concern he felt for his wife. In his seminal book, Man's Search for Meaning, he describes how he and his fellow prisoners were able to endure the Nazis' daily beatings and brutal marches by focusing on what was most meaningful to them, their love for their wives. From this experience, Frankl learned what would be the main theme of his book: suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it finds meaning.
We are living in a society to satisfy and gratify each and every human need, except for one need, the most basic and fundamental need operant in man, the need for meaning.
During the current lockdown, surveys reveal that approximately 40% of North Americans are grappling with at least one mental health or drug-related problem. Young adults have been hit harder. A recent survey by the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention revealed that 1 in 4 young adults had thought about taking their own lives in the first year of the pandemic. I was taught that if you see a person drowning, you must jump into the water to save them, whether you can swim or not. Irena Sandler chose not to be a bystander during the Holocaust. The Polish nursing student risked her life to help save thousands of Jews. In 1940, Sandler, a Polish Catholic, was outraged at the racist injustices of the Nazis, who forced the Jews of Warsaw, approximately 30% of the city's entire population, into a small walled-off area of the city, the now infamous Warsaw Ghetto.
Kto nie był w getcie, nie widział uczek tego getta i tego życia, to nie będzie miał pojęcia o getcie i piekło nie do powtórzenia. Ulice z trupkami dzieci. Zebrałam 5 osób i powiedziałam: słuchajcie, musimy wydać wojnę Hitlerowi.
Sandler's active protests led her to be suspended from nursing school, but that didn't stop her. She found a job working in the ghetto. Unbeknownst to the Nazis, each day she would smuggle out Jewish babies and children in her cart and place them in homes with Poles who, like her, were compelled to help Jews despite the risk of certain death if they were caught. The Nazis eventually discovered what Sandler was doing. They arrested her and tortured her to reveal the names of her collaborators, but she did not break. The nursing student managed to escape and survive the remainder of the war in hiding. It is estimated Irena Sandler and her fellow Poles saved 2,500 Jewish children from the Warsaw Ghetto. She lived until she was 98 and is considered a hero in Poland. Her courageous acts led her to be recognized as one of the righteous among the nations by Yad Vashem. Heroes do extraordinary things. What I did was not an extraordinary thing. It was normal. While the challenges of the current pandemic are vastly different from those faced by medical professionals during the Holocaust, today's frontline workers also show enormous courage and bravery, risking their lives and often confronting difficult moral and ethical decisions. While imprisoned in Auschwitz, Dr. Zezela Pearl, a Jewish gynecologist from Hungary, was forced to work for the infamous Dr. Mengele, the Angel of Death. Upon her arrival to the camp, he instructed Dr. Pearl to send any pregnant prisoners to him. She soon discovered Mengele was using them as human guinea pigs for his ghastly medical experiments. and when he was done with them, they were sent to their death in the gas chambers. Dr. Pearl understood that if she saved both mother and child, they would certainly be murdered. She made a difficult decision. She would save the mothers. I decided that never again would there be a pregnant woman in Auschwitz. From that moment on, when any pregnant woman arrived in Auschwitz, Pearl would convince them to allow her to perform an abortion. In filthy conditions, with no access to medical instruments, she would secretly perform the procedures in the barracks. And more shocking, if the mothers were too far along for an abortion, Pearl would instead deliver the newborn and have to euthanize the child after the birth. Dr. Zezela Pearl saved hundreds of Jewish women from certain death in Auschwitz. After the war, Pearl began helping pregnant women give birth again. Jizzy Doctor, as women survivors would call her, went on to safely deliver thousands of children during her long medical career. Pearl, Sandler, and Frankl all illustrate the important leadership role medical professionals play in the moral, ethical, and emotional health of our society. The lessons they leave us with are profound: to find meaning amidst catastrophe, to follow the righteous path over our own self-interests, to choose hope over hopelessness. The choice is ours. The more one forgets himself by giving himself to a cause to serve or another person to love, the more human he is. Viktor Frankl.